Alright guys, here we go. We are doing the chapter 4 review for our test that's coming up in a couple days. So I picked 4 problems, 14, 22, 39, 67A, and B. Yeah, obviously if you have more questions, let me know and I can help you out. So let's start with number 14. We look at this, we got y equals x e to the negative x. It says to find the derivative of the function. So looking at this one right away, we see that this is an x times e to the negative x. So that tells us we use product rule. So we say u is x, v equals e to the negative x. Du, the derivative of x is just 1. The derivative of v is e to the negative x times the derivative of that negative x, which is just negative 1. So we would write that as negative e to the negative x. So we go through and we do our derivative is going to be u dv plus v du. So it's going to be x times negative e to the negative x plus e to the negative x times 1. If we were going to clean this up, this would be negative x over e to the x plus 1 over e to the x, which then simplifies to 1 minus x over e to the x. Alright, so now moving on to number 22. If you guys remember 21, we did this one on the board. We had to take the natural log of both sides. Now this one we can do the derivative of this one, no problem. It's just the quotient rule. And then the derivative of the top is going to be the product rule, and the derivative of the bottom is going to be the chain rule. So there's a lot of rules going on in there, and we want to try and figure out an easier way for us to do this. So we're going to just use our natural log and rewrite it. The natural log of y equals the natural log of 2x plus the natural log of 2 to the x plus the natural log of x squared plus 1 to the 1/2. But that's not a plus, that's a minus because it's in the denominator right there. So we've got the plus because it's multiply and then the minus because it's divide. Then we're just going to go through and take our derivatives. I'm actually even going to clean it up even more. I'm going to pull my exponents out in front. So we got natural log of y equals the natural log of 2x. This x comes out in front, and we get x times the natural log of 2 minus 1/2 times the natural log of x squared plus 1. That's our log rules. Log rules say we can pull the exponent out in front. So the derivative of the natural log of y is 1 over y dy dx, because we have to use our implicit differentiation, equals 1 over 2x times the derivative of this, which is 2. And then this one, because we pulled this exponent out in front, now we can just take the derivative of this, and natural log of 2 is a number times x. So the derivative of x is 1, so it's just going to be the number in front, the coefficient in front, which is natural log of 2. Okay, now we go minus 1/2 times 1 over x squared plus 1 times the derivative of the inside, which is 2x. We clean everything up, we get 1 over x plus the natural log of 2. This 2 cancels out with that 2, and we get minus x over x squared plus 1. And we're done. That's a great answer right there. Oh, sorry, it's not a great answer. 1 over y dy dx. Now we have this y, we got to multiply that over to the other side. So we multiply both sides by y. This whole thing gets multiplied by y. And then we can just replace it in there. So now we have our answer, dy dx equals y, which is 2x times 2 to the x divided by the square root of x squared plus 1 times 1 over x plus natural log of 2 minus x over x squared plus 1. You could FOIL that through if you wanted to. I don't want to. I'm going to leave it like that. We'll call that a free response question and get all the points. Alright, now we got x cubed plus y cubed equals 1, and it's find the second derivative. So we got 3x squared plus 3y squared. We took a derivative of y, so we have to say dy dx equals 0. Subtract the 3x squared over to the other side, so we get 3y squared dy dx equals negative 3x squared. Then we divide by 3y squared. That cancels out, the 3's cancel out, and we get dy dx equals negative x squared over y squared, which is great. That gives us our first derivative, but then we look at our directions, and we need to find the second derivative. So the second derivative, now we're going to use the quotient rule. And our quotient rule, our u is negative x squared. Our v is y squared. So du equals negative 2x. dv equals 2y dy dx. So quotient rule says low d high minus high d low. So low is y squared times negative 2x gives us negative 2xy squared minus high, negative x squared makes that a positive, times 2y dy dx, all divided by the low squared, which gives us y to the fourth. Then we're going to plug in this negative x squared y squared into that dy dx. We get negative 2xy squared plus x squared 2y times negative x squared over y squared, all divided by y to the fourth. Now, free response question, yes, we can be done right there, but this is going to be a multiple choice answer, so we're going to simplify this a little bit. So this, nothing changes here. Right here, we're going to multiply this y squared through. This becomes negative 2xy squared minus, because of this minus sign, x to the fourth times 2 times 1 over y, because those y's cancel out. Then we divide that by y to the fourth, multiply everything through by y, and we get negative 2xy cubed minus 2x to the fourth divided by y to the fifth. And that's just getting rid of the fractions inside of fractions. Alright, now we're going to move to 67a and b. And 67a and b are really good because this function notation is used all over the AP test, and you want to make sure you know how to do this. So the rule is just to find the first derivative. So we've got the quotient rule, so we just go about and we set it up exactly the way we know how to. U is equal to f of 2x. V is equal to x minus 1. Du, so this is a little bit of the chain rule. This is going to be f prime of 2x times the derivative of the inside, which is 2. dv is equal to 1. So we got low x minus 1 times d high, which is going to be f prime of 2x times 2, minus high f of 2x times d low, which is 1, all divided by x minus 1 squared. Now we just plug in a 0, and we got a negative 1 times f prime of 0 times 2 minus f of 0 divided by negative 1 squared. So now we got to use our chart. We have f prime of 0. So f prime of 0, we come up here, f prime of 0 is negative 2. So we're going to replace that. So we got negative 1 times negative 2 times 2. I'll move it up so that you guys can see. Minus f of 0, f of 0 is negative 1. So this is a minus a negative 1 divided by 1. So negative 2 times negative 4 is 4. Minus a negative 1 is plus 1, which gets us 5. And that is our answer. Alright, moving on to the next one. Once again, we got product rule. So it's going to be a mixture of product rule and chain rule. U is f squared of x. V is g cubed of x. So du equals 2f of x times f prime of x. dv equals 3f squared of x times f prime of x. Okay, g, ooh, look at that, g. So this is 3g squared of x times g prime of x. The outside function in this one is x cubed. The outside function in this one is x squared. Okay, make sure you guys know your chain rule for this test. So now we're going to plug in 0. Oh, actually, we've got to do u dv plus v du. So we got f squared of x times 3g squared of x times g prime of x plus g cubed of x times 2 times f of x times f prime of x. Now we're going to plug in a 0. I had to squeeze some in here, so we're going to go f squared of 0 times 3 times g squared of 0 times g prime of 0 plus g cubed of 0 times 2 times f of 0 times f prime of 0. So f of 0 is negative 1, so this is negative 1 squared times 3. G of 0 is negative 3, so this is going to be negative 3 squared. G prime of 0 is 4, plus g of 0 cubed is negative 3 cubed, it's g of 0, times 2 times f of 0, which is negative 1, times f prime of 0, which is negative 2. So we got 1 times 3 times 9 times 4 plus negative 27 times 2 times negative 1 times negative 2. 3 times 9 is 27 times 4 is 7 is 28. 108 plus 2 times negative 27 is negative 54 times a negative 54, or times a negative 2 is positive 108 times negative 1 is negative 108. So our answer is 0. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry about that, guys. So I'll leave it right here for a minute. 1 times 3 times 9 times 4 is 108. Negative 27 times 2 times negative 2 is negative 108. We add those together and we get 0. Alright guys, come tomorrow with lots of questions, and good luck on your test.